Hello and welcome to our Balanced Body podcast here at EHS Pilates in San Francisco. My name is Nancy Myers and we have Michelle Modet is going to help me show you the Toe Gizmo today. We're going to be incorporating the Toe Gizmo into some of your traditional mat work. For this sequence of exercises, we're going to use the heavier resistance. The red Toe Gizmo is a lighter spring resistance and the black is a heavier spring. So unless you have hypermobile joints for this particular sequence of exercises, we're going to use heavier resistance. For the first set of roll downs, we're going to place the Toe Gizmo around your first toe, and we're going to keep her foot in dorsiflexion and slightly pulling into the resistance, not going into external rotation. I would just like the resistance to be in parallel. You might be slightly wider than hip, knee, ankle distance apart here, but to have that resistance continue to be consistent through the roll down. So go ahead and take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, contract the abdominals and roll down. So what is the advantage of adding the Toe Gizmo to your mat work? We're actually closing the fascial lines here. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, roll back up to sitting. And how do you feel that differently from just doing a roll down without the gizmo?
Just feels a little more accessible.
More accessible. We're going to work our way down. You're going to put the first two toes in the gizmo. Continue to pull equally into the resistance, not going into external rotation, and I don't want the foot to invert or evert, or the ankle to pronate or supinate. Just pulling into the resistance in parallel. Go ahead and roll down. Taking the gizmo onto the second digit now will make her feel slightly different in the abdominal engagement. Possibly even getting some VMO, more TA,
Definitely more.
And more pelvic floor connection around the first digit. Now we're going to take all three of the first toes into the gizmo. If your toes do not fit in the gizmo, you can take the first toe out, just keeping the second and third, but I would like the strap to be over the toe. If you're going to take the first toe out, the strap should be on top of the big toe. But you don't have that problem. We can put all three of those in. Again, you're going to pull into that resistance. Don't go into external rotation or fan the foot into external rotation. I want you to just go lateral. Try to keep the toes as relaxed as possible here and roll down. So now having the first three toes in the gizmo, we get more engagement of obliques. Can you feel the difference as we work our way out? Now we're going to keep the first three toes in the gizmo and have you roll down onto the mat. Imprint your spine to support your back. Because we have your toes connected here, you're going to have to pick, we usually would pick up one leg at a time, but I'm going to assist her in picking up both legs into your tabletop position to prepare for the next exercise. You're going to again pull into the resistance of the gizmo without going into external rotation. You may need to use a ball here if they're not able to maintain alignment of the knees. Now I'm going to have you place your hands behind your head. Interlace the fingers and roll up into your abdominal positioning. From here, we're going to do crisscross, and because the toes are attached, you're not going to get the same range of motion, but we are going to get the better engagement of those obliques. So go ahead and bend one knee slightly in. She's pulling into the resistance here as she rotates, and alternate. So we're actually limiting range of motion slightly here compared to the regular mat exercise, but because we're adding this fascial chain, closed chain environment with the resistance of the spring, you can feel more activation of those obliques. Yes? Yes. Good. And release. Now we're going to take the gizmo back to just the first two toes and change the exercise to double leg. Pull into the resistance. Release the hands from behind the head. You're going to grasp the knees and roll up into your abdominal positioning. And I want the oppositional pull and push. So you're pulling the knees in, shoulders down as you push the legs away. Now extend both arms and legs, circle around, hug the knees. Keep pulling into the resistance of the gizmo and extend. Circle and pull. And extend. So with those first two toes, remember we're trying to engage that TA. Now extend the legs, place the hands behind the head and go right into your double leg lowers and up. Keep pulling into the resistance and lower. And lift. And lower. And lift. And lower. And now bend the knees and release down. Lastly, we're going to take it around the first metatarsal, first toe joint. Pull into the resistance, and here's our hundreds. Release the arms at your sides. Extend the legs, or you can keep the knees bent, but pull into the resistance, not going into external rotation. And inhale, 2, 4, 5, and pulling down. Now, can you feel the engagement differently from just your mat work? Can you feel how that closes the fascial chain to that pelvic floor? And her hip flexors are nice and relaxed. And bend the knees in and take that off. Thank you for joining us today for our intro to the Toe Gizmo in your mat work.